Christopher's and fall is in the air. Here in Alabama. Well, so COVID is not as in the air as fall.
We're freshly recovering.
We are freshly recovering. We did not bring you a video last week. We've just had sickness in our family, but everybody is well and doing fine now. Still just trying to get over a little bit of the fatigue and dry cough. And then here in Alabama too, it's like you never know if it's allergies or cold or what, because so many people just constantly have drainage year round. It's a lovely, lovely thought.
Yeah.
But we're here today. Some of you who follow us on Facebook or Instagram, you may have noticed that we had decoration where my dad is buried, and this was in the photo, this beautiful pumpkin that David has made out of flowers. And I actually made a mistake on the post and thought that there was some kind of wood frame in this pumpkin because I did not see him make it when he made it. But actually, it's all made, the base is all made with styrofoam, right?
Yeah.
And you want to show people today, what would you like to show people?
I would like to show you an easier way to make it than I probably made it.
Okay. And he actually tried to record this. It was going to be the video for last week, but he got interrupted 800 million times, he said, because he was trying to do this at our retail location. And then I think like maybe he had the iPad running because I had the SD card for the camera. Way more information than you probably want to know, but I feel like we haven't caught up with everybody in a while.
Yeah.
So
I got started kind of late, and I was trying to do it on the back counter, the back part of the store, and customers started coming in, and I was like, this isn't working. So.
Yes. And we love the customers coming in. They come first, always. But hopefully today we will get to do this the right way, and you can see a cool way to make your own if you're feeling crafty. Pumpkin like this lovely pumpkin. To get started, you see that we have put down some cardboard to keep the glue that David's going to be using off of the table. We use an electric skillet filled with glue chips. We actually sell the glue chips in a bag on our website. You can purchase those if you want, and then you melt them in the electric skillet and it gives you all the glue you could ever need. And we also have some spray bars is what these are called a lot of times, but it's styrofoam, and you may have actually cut these out of a larger piece.
Yeah, you could cut this out of a large piece, but I find that more often than not people use smaller pieces, so I'm using a fairly standard 2x4x12 piece of styrofoam.
2x4x12. And how many pieces of this styrofoam is somebody going to need for the project today?
Today I'm hoping to keep it around 8 pieces of this size, which is, you know, I think you get 10 pieces out of a 36-inch sheet, something like that.
Okay, so we will get started.
Yeah. Okay, so basically 6 pieces is going to give us like 6 inches across, but 8 inches this way. So if I stand them vertically, I'm going to try and make a taller pumpkin than the other one that's tall and skinny, and this one's going to be kind of short and fat. So basically I just kind of get a layout, and then we're going to add glue. Just a nice healthy dose of glue here. And the reason you're going to want some cardboard on your table is because this glue will sometimes seep all the way through to the bottom, and you may glue it to the cardboard, but you can peel it off. It's okay.
Train break.
Now that I have my primary block glued together, I'm going to reinforce it just because I'm a little OCD. So I'm going to take these wood picks and at an angle. I'm always doing this at an angle because it holds better than straight across. And I'm just taking the copper wire off of the wood picks. That will keep my styrofoam together even if the glue decides to let go. If you do not have wood picks, I don't know why you wouldn't have wood picks. I mean, I think everybody has wood picks. But you can just use a random stem that you've cut off of, you know, a flower stem at some point. And I just kind of like shave it down to the actual wire.
I say don't try this at home.
I thought everybody had like random floral supplies just lying around. So you can just use a wire if you don't have wood picks. Since I need this one to be a little bit taller, I am going to add a couple of blocks. And basically we're just going to lay these horizontally and get a little bit of a measure. You just score it and pop it. Kind of like sheetrock. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to stack these on top of each other. Shake this corner down a little bit. So we're going to glue these two blocks together. And then we're going to glue this block to our base. And we're going to do the same thing.
This makes me think of Legos.
Love Lego.
I know, that's what I was thinking. You love Lego, and now you're putting together styrofoam like Lego.
It's the adult version of Legos. Nah, it's still kid version. Couple more wood picks.
And another train. Okay,
I have added the top portion, and as you can see, I've basically got a square block, rectangle-ish. So I said I want to try and make this easier on you than the way I did it, because technically the way I built this one was a square block, just like this, which means I had to cut every single stem different lengths so that I could get an actual pumpkin shape. So we're going to try and cheat that system a little bit by cutting one of these down the middle. And then we're going to add here, because it's longer this way than it is this way. So we're going to kind of even that out a little bit. The always needed wood picks.
this looks like a Minecraft character.
Yeah, it's like a creeper.
Yeah, a creeper.
From here, we got kind of our basic shape going on. I'm just going to shave a little bit off the top. And then the sides here, take a little corner piece off. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just so we get a little more dome shape on top. I am going to be using the same chrysanthemum bush that we used in the burgundy color, but I'm going to make this one a different color. So the fun part, also the expensive part, styrofoam not too bad, but it's going to take a lot of flowers to fill this in. So not for the faint of heart. If you intend to try to do this, you will need to buy a lot of flower heads to cover this entire thing. But we're basically just going to cut all of these flower heads off. And you can cut them a little longer than needed because you can always push them in a little bit further into the styrofoam. And we'll go ahead and glue a couple of these in. And really the easiest thing to do is we're going to get a baseline by starting in the middle. I don't recommend necessarily starting at the top or the bottom because what you want to do is angle in toward the top and angle down toward the bottom. That way you get that rounded pumpkin shape. If you choose to start at the bottom or the top, you sometimes lose that, you forget, well, I forget to make it a little wider in the middle than it is at the top and the bottom. So now comes the very long, tedious part, which you will get to skip, and I will have to do, where we will fast motion through this.
Updates while we're working on this is our oldest son has his driver's license. I know we were talking last fall about him having his permit, and he has his license now. We haven't completely turned him loose, so to speak, just yet.
Or endangered everyone else.
No, he's actually been a pretty decent driver. It's just, you know, there's so many people on the road that do things you can't anticipate, and that's really difficult for a young driver. And I would encourage you all, no matter your age while driving, to have patience and remember that some people behind the wheel literally don't know what they're doing yet, or they're just figuring it out. And sometimes, sadly, you learn to drive by driving and encountering different situations. And so my prayer life has increased a lot since he's been driving, and that's a good thing. But you hear parents joke about that, but it's true. It's like every day I'm just praying that God keeps him safe, stays with him, protects him, helps him make good decisions when he's on and off the road, but especially regarding his safety. You can use this as a tabletop piece on a dining room table or a side table or a foyer. You could put it on the floor in front of a TV stand or a mantle, on your mantle or beneath your mantle. And the flowers that David is using, like he said, are chrysanthemum sprays. Chrysanthemums? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a mum.
Yeah, it's just not like there's different kinds of mums.
But these are safe for the outdoors, right?
Well, I wouldn't put them outside. If you had a covered porch, they'd be fine, but I wouldn't want them to get soaking wet.
What will happen if they do?
Well, it just kind of depends on a few things, but like certain colors are a little more difficult for some of the factories than others, and like this particular red color, while it is very pretty, the dye can run sometimes if they're soaking wet. So I wouldn't put it necessarily completely in the wet.
What about this color though?
I think this color is okay.
It's
very often the darker colors that you have problems with because they have to use a lot more dye to get that really deep color.
You can take a flower that you're unsure about and run it under water and then take a paper towel and wipe on it. Or sometimes it's very obvious. You'll see the dye run out into the sink. But you can also take like a paper towel and wipe it to see if it's going to come off or how much of it comes off, and test out florals to see if they're going to make it outside when it comes to the colors running. And
you can always call and we'll tell you if it will be okay outside in all weather or not.
Yes. And whether, even if a flower is weatherproof, so to speak, you know, the sun is going to fade this material over time no matter what. Because most flowers, like you see here, are they not made out of a form of plastic?
These are not. These are actually, well,
these look
some of them
fancier than
some of them are polyester, some are taffeta, some are mixtures of different things, some are satin.
But it's all almost like well, those are all like fabric sounding.
Yeah, they are. That's pretty much what all the flowers are made of.
Like some of the leaves are like plastic.
Different kinds of fabrics.
Yeah. The stems are plastic.
Yes. The majority of our flower placement on our pumpkin. So the other two things that we really need so that people get the pumpkin shape idea out of this, rather than, you know, we could make it, I guess, a pineapple if we wanted to, with some blades of grass or some fern, or, you know, just take some random things, you can make it a pumpkin. But we're going to show you how to make the lines, the indentions in your pumpkin. And I'm going to use this cream barnyard grass for this. So really what it is it's a couple of these almost pampas-like grass stems. And I'm just going to bend it. And then I find me a good spot up toward the top. And we're going to bend those down to where we just see a little bit of that shape, and we're going to continue that on the way down, and then we're going to start new lines. We have our lines in our pumpkin now. So what we really need is a stem, and you can use just about anything. I would just be careful with things like grass, because I feel like it starts to look like a pineapple, like SpongeBob lives there. So what I suggest is something that has an actual stem more that you can see. If it has a little bit of foliage on it, that's fine, but I think it's better to have more stem that looks a little more vine-ish than just grasses coming out. little bit more. And because I want this to look a little more substantial, I'm actually cutting the bottom off of my stem of fern. I'm going to shave this down just a little bit to make it easier to stick into the styrofoam. And then we're going to add this. Just kind of braid the other stems with that, just so it looks a little more substantial. And there we have our pumpkin.
Thank you all for joining us today. Remember that you can find everything you need to make these beautiful pumpkins at davidchristopher's.com. We sell wholesale and we sell retail. If you go to our website, you can find lots of information that will help you in your creations.
Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, as we hope to bring you new content every week and some things maybe you don't get to see everywhere else.
Yes, we hope so. Bye.